You're listening to Grant's Rants. Subscribe and spread the word. There are a lot more rants to come. Listen anytime on all major podcasting platforms. And now, back to the show.
And we're back on the podcast. I'm joined by Annabelle DeSisto. Good to hear from you again. I love ranting with you. This next topic is probably an unpopular opinion, but unpopular opinions found here on the podcast. I am willing to be wrong about this, but this Lil Nas X video, Montero, have you looked at this? Have you watched this?
I have not watched. I saw a screen cap. I saw it.
Well, that's all you need. Let me just say, this is Holy Week, and this asshole comes out with giving Satan a lap dance, going down on a stripper pole. I don't know. I mean, look, I'm not clutching my pearls here. We grew up with Britney, and, we know what it's like. But also, even Miley, she danced on many poles, and she wasn't giving the devil a lap dance. So this is next level. And I ripped this to shreds, and I didn't take it down. A friend of mine wrote to me who I really respect, and she said, he's actually making a really solid point, though. And I'm like, really? Like this? I mean, first of all, the video looked like it was like some cheap Avatar wanna-looking rip-off video. And I couldn't follow the plot. I didn't care to follow the plot. The costumes were crazy, which I appreciate in a video, but, I don't know. It just didn't match for me. But I think that this video was really counterproductive because it shows that you've got this queer person who starts off in a heaven-like area with wings and then goes down to the devil and then does whatever he does with the devil. And this is supposed to create a conversation. No one serious is looking at this video and wanting to sit down and have a chat about this. I think this is so counterproductive and so backwards. And if anything, it makes bigots look at this and say, look, gays really do go to hell. They really do debase themselves and they really do pleasure the devil or whatever you want. And no one is looking at this wanting to start a conversation, think differently, challenge their viewpoints.
Yeah, anyone who sees this, who feels differently, I'm like, they don't have conversations. Those people just yell. like the people who have a problem with it.
Yeah.
They're normally not the, they have a lot of angry misspelled signs.
Yeah. I feel like someone would say, but Grant, he's trying to show that he grew up he had to stay quiet about who he was because of religion, and so much of religion, even up until recently, they looked down on gay marriage and all these things. But how is this a music video to a rap video with dancing with the devil during Holy Week going to create a conversation that he's going to be taken seriously? I maybe I'm old school and I don't feel like I am, but with this one, this just does not sit well with me. I'm not for this. And I'm not super conservative or hyper-religious. I'm just looking at it and saying, what the hell is this? I just don't see how this is going to be anything productive whatsoever.
I like it. Now, I did not watch the video. I opened this up. I am so happy because of you. I told you, I'm educated about this. I had no idea when I signed on Twitter. I just saw people complaining about blood in shoes. And I just thought, I was oh, wow. Maybe this is the next level up from that person finding shrimp in his Captain Crunch. I'm ew, somebody bled all over, whatever. So I didn't know what it was about until you. I say good for him. Listen, a lot of those people who are in such harm,
all
freaking out about this. They weren't fans of or supporters or even looked at them people of gay people or black people. So I don't think he's losing any fans. I think they're already and so I don't think his thing was to be taken seriously. It's listen, you're not going to like me or my music to begin with. So why would I do this for you? If anything, this is just going to upset you, which that's always fun, so I think it's amazing. Out of everything that they get to say and out of all the hate-filled things that they get to spew, and now a rapper is getting to do his art, his song,
that's a good
music
point.
video of his. like, it's not a publicly funded video. I would understand if like he was doing like a GoFundMe for, you know, like, oh, for like St. Jude's. And then he like took all the money. He's like, ha, guess what? I just did this music video. Suck it. But no, it's his own song. You can do whatever out of, think about how many other music videos and disturbing videos, wherever that there have been. Like, listen, I was just so relieved when I saw like Give Satan a Lap Dance, and I was like, oh my God, this is disgusting. Who had to give Ted Cruz a lap dance? Like, that's what I thought they were talking about. I was like, oh my God, this poor man. Oh my God, this poor little nose.
Ted Cruz, or is that, if you squint, is that Lindsey Graham? I was just wondering. Well, I couldn't tell.
Just like, I mean, Lindsey Graham would love to be giving Ted Cruz.
That's what I'm saying. I think he auditioned, at least auditioned, put his name in. You know, the thing is, it's like the message that he's trying to portray is going to get lost because people who are ultra conservative are just going to look at this and point, and it's just counterproductive in my opinion.
And they said that about, I mean, they said like that's like the devil's work when it was Britney and Madonna kissing on stage, no matter what it is. Like when like Miley was dancing on stage with a foam finger, it's the devil's work. Like, do you see what they're doing? Do you see what they're doing? Like, they have a problem with everything. So it's like the fact that they're not offended by, I'm not going to go political on your, but it's like the fact that they are not offended by some of the most offensive, hateful things, that they're not offended by that. So it's like, if you're not offended by that, don't expect me to take you seriously when you're offended, when you say you're offended by anything else. And so I love that these people were so upset about Nike that it's like, you're upset because it's with this person's, the artist, it's not the slave labor that upsets you. That's totally fine. It's the fact that it's like, associated with this rapper and that there's blood on it.
Right.
If you're putting this much, this much power and this much like, my kids are going to see this shoe. They're never going to be the same. They're ruined.
Yeah.
The world will cease to exist. Like, then I say you have bigger problems as a parent and as a person than somebody's pairs of shoes that no one's making you buy and that you probably can't afford anyway.
Yeah. I think for me, it pisses me off because it feeds the culture war from the right that like, look what is happening to America's youth. Look at their influences. Look at their culture. And while the intent was, I guess, to create a conversation, I just don't see that bridging anything because of that, because people, they're not willing to engage in that. I think there are other ways that you could go about it. I mean, this music video is going to come and go, and it's not going to do a damn thing, unfortunately. But I mean, it's just going to unfortunately make these political pundits go more wild with feeding the ruination of America. It just feeds directly, and this is what they look for. This is what they're hungry for, to play back on Fox News to our grandparents. You know what I mean? So it's just like, it's contributing to that narrative, and it's hard to argue, right? It's visual.
Why everyone is so upset about like these devil shoes. I'm like, devil shoes have been around for generations, and their real name is Crocs. So I don't know why now we're calling them like going by devil shoes, but like Crocs have been around for a very, very long time. So I don't understand like the new uproar right now.
Yeah, no,
like, I don't know.
I have changed my opinion a little bit after hearing you about, just as like an artist, like he can do whatever he wants to do. He can tell the message of this video. This isn't anything new. So I understand that, but I don't know. I just feel like it's just going to like, it just gives the critics what they want in a very big way. So
I think a lot of the people who are so up in arms about this, it's ironic that they're so upset about this and also so upset about Sharon Osbourne, where I'm like, oh, have you not seen her husband, Ozzy, like any of his work? Like,
yes.
So upset about these devil shoes that are such supporters, and so outraged also about like Sharon Osbourne's treatment. I'm like,
yeah.
Do
Let's talk about Sharon.
Any of her husband's things.
Yeah, and not only that, but Sharon and her antics aren't anything new. I've never been a fan, as I've said on this podcast. In fact, the very first story here on Grant's Rants, it always goes back to The View, was her daughter Kelly Osbourne's appearance on ABC/ABC News' The View, talking about that. Remember the quote, "Who's going to clean your toilets, Donald Trump?"
Toilet.
And
yeah.
So, like, it's just interesting all these years later. Now the mother is in the hot seat. CBS says that Sharon has decided to leave. Yeah, okay. And maybe she did, maybe she didn't. But then they go on to say that Sharon did not align with their values of a respectful workplace and that they didn't feel like the evidence was blindsiding. So that was Sharon's defense, that she was blindsided. So they did a huge investigation into this. The show is off for a month. It doesn't come back till April 14th. I mean, this is the biggest thing to ever happen to The Talk. I don't think The Talk gets even like a press pickup on like Decider. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think anyone's ever talked about The Talk before. And it's been on since 2010. Replaced As the World Turns. Like, what is the point of it? So the Talk to me is dead in the water. By Kelly, by Sharon, by Piers. Can we please be done with Piers? And, you know, I'm not all for canceling people, but those three, they just don't seem like good people to me. So I'm cool with letting them go.
Also, doesn't it feel like Sharon Osbourne has been on TV like since the dawn of time? Like, don't you feel like it's been like so long? And I'm like not like an ageist like whatsoever. Like it's not that. Mm-hmm. It's just like it's just like kind of been the same beat, like the same joke, like her same like.
Well, she's like very self-important. Yeah, she's like, you know, it asserts herself as this very self-important human being, very much in the know. And I just never really bought the act, to be honest. I was just never a fan.
Don't get, like, why are you still like? I don't understand. Like, why are you still even doing this? If you have that much money and if you're that age and you have like, and you're a grandmother, wouldn't you just want to stay home and do nothing and be with your like 15 dogs and like that? Well, I understand maybe she wants to be at work because from the Osbournes, the only thing I remember from that show was just how much dog shit was everywhere in the house. It's like all I remember from that show. But it's like, wouldn't you just want to stay home and be a grandmother and doing this? Like, you have plenty of money. Like, your grandkids have plenty of money. I want to stay at home and do nothing. And I don't have plenty of money. And I'm not a grandmother. I should be out living my life. I should be getting money. I still am like, I just want to sit here. So it's like, if I feel that way and I should be out, like, I don't understand. Like, what do you have to just go away. Like,
yeah.
So it's just like,
I'm ready for her to go away.
Like a worst, defense. It's not an apology. Like defending herself. Like it was just
there's
like
no
the worst
accountability
defense ever. And I was just like, literally, yeah. I was waiting for her to be like, I can't be racist. My husband was in Black Sabbath. It says the word black in it. Like, how could I be racist? Like, it's just go away. Like, why are you doing this?
Yeah, I'm ready for her to go. No accountability. She took none. And for that's hard to get behind. So I think that's why they ultimately let her go. Sure, they paid her out, though. That's what they don't say. They say, oh, she's against our, like, what do they say, our values. But yeah, if she was under contract, they had to pay her out. So, like, you know, don't feel too bad. You know, all these people, when these things happen to them, they end up making big bank. And then she'll probably go and write a book.
Then she got, like, a $10 million, like, out.
Oh, really? See? So, yeah, she's against their values, but she still makes $10 million. Just to like drive off the lot.
Is it true that she's suing CBS or CBS? She's suing the pharmacy. Is it true that she's suing CBS?
I don't know anything about that. I don't even know what her severance was, if anything. But I wonder. I mean, she'll never work again if she does. Maybe she doesn't need to. I don't know. That's strange. I don't care for her. Elsewhere on daytime TV, Ellen DeGeneres has lost more than 1 million viewers since September. And this on the heels of a lot of bad press. People are just not having it. Anything, I know for me, any hypocrisy, I'm out. I can't be lied to. So I think people felt like they were just being trolled. It's a 38% decline in the key demo of adult women under 54. And that's not great. You know, it's still one of the top 3 highest rated syndicated talk shows. But
she's another one where I'm just like, go away. What are you doing this for? It's not even like she likes it anymore. I mean, I used to watch it at the beginning and like I watched like a few things like when her show like first started because I used to love her. Like I saw her like do stand up for like 3 of my birthday. Like when I was such a huge fan of hers and her like HBO specials. Yeah. Like I loved her. And it's like, so I really liked her show the first few seasons. And then it's like, I stopped watching it where I'm like, oh, she like looks tired of dancing, which like I get it. There's only so many times you can come out and like dance, in different ways.
Coffee table, yeah.
Yeah, so I'm like, okay, I get it, but why are you still doing this? There's no way that you can still be enjoying doing this show where it's like you seem so over it. You don't need the money. Like, why are you doing this? Like, and I've heard from like very good. We've all heard the Ellen stories, like,
yes.
Probably, but like, and I'm like, what are those British, sisters? And she used to have like those like annoying, like little British, like young girls come on and like dance. And I was like, who are these people? Like, what are they doing now? I would love to hear their side of the story. I want to hear what they saw behind the scenes. But it's like, I know from very personal good sources that one of her things was a bunch of her comedy writers dressed as her for Halloween. And she came in thinking that obviously they thought she would like think it was funny. I mean, they just dressed as her, like not offensively. They just, it's pretty, that's honestly dressing as Ellen is like a pretty affordable costume. You wear like jeans and like, a sweater and like, like a Peter Pan collar and you're like, and sneakers. And you're like, all right, I'm good to go. She came in and she looked at all of them. She said, you're all fired, but just so you know, you have to work for me up until this day and you'll work for me knowing that you're fired.
Wow.
She said that to the writers who were dressed as her.
Wow.
You have to work knowing that you're fired.
I mean, I've heard that writer's room. This is just rumors, but I've just heard that writer's room is quite the turnover rate.
And another is that she yelled at the queen, the comedy icon and legend. And everyone is like favorite, like America's aunt. Like Andrea Martin, who I love. She's like one of my favorite actresses. Ellen yelled at her at her house. Like she had her over for a dinner party. I told you this, right?
Go ahead. Tell us for the podcast.
I can't tell the deep details, but someone who was over there, and this person has no reason to lie because this person is a like bigger person. And so they were all over there for like Ellen for like a dinner party she was throwing. There were only like 8 people. And so they were going through the house and Andrea Martin sat on this chair and it was like this stupid thing that looks like a sheep. Chris Jenner has one. And I guess this sheep thing is like $50,000 or something, like something ridiculous, something that you could buy like 3 small countries and still
right.
And still not be able to like afford this. That Andrea Martin just like sat on it, like not knowing that because it looks like the seat. And that Ellen came in and yelled at her for like 10 minutes where like Andrea Martin was almost in tears, like, and it was so awkward, like, because it was like a dinner party and this was like before they sat down. And they were like, do we go? Do we like, I mean, you don't yell at Andrea Martin.
Yeah. Should be yelling at anybody.
Anyone for that. Like, if you can afford that stupid of a decoration and you're afraid if somebody like sat on it, she didn't like, do like a Van Halen and pick it up and like smash it into a million pieces. She sat on it. It's hideous. It looks like a stool. And if you can afford to waste that much money, you can afford to buy another one. But you do not yell at a comedy legend, especially like an older one who's just like sitting down. Like, you're a monster. You're awful. Like, dancing is supposed to give you endorphins. Like, as we learned from Elwood, like endorphins are supposed to make you happy. Ellen, for as much as she dances, very unhappy person.
It does seem that way. I mean, maybe she's resentful of the show. Like you said, like, what is she doing it for other than the money? I don't know. I don't enjoy her, and it seems like a lot of people have tuned out. I don't know if they're coming back.
I just think she's so mean. Like, how her whole thing is like scaring people. How she just like loved to scare celebrities. Like all those like videos. I would be like shaking. I have like a very high startle reflex. But it's like, especially the one of like the ones with like my boo. Like anytime like Richard Simmons would go on her show, like he would like literally almost be in tears. She would scare him so badly. I didn't like it.
No good.
She's just mean.
Well, let's end on a potential positive note. What could be good is Brittany, if she can get rid of this father, she's officially petitioned to have him removed as her conservator / jailer. And April 27th is the next hearing. A lot of things could change for her. She's, refused to work until she gets rid of him. And if she can get rid of him, then the next phase of her life could begin. And that could be personal, it could be professional, whatever. She likes the temporary conservator. And she shouldn't be in a conservatorship at all. But my thing with this is, I think this phase 1, get rid of the father, Jamie. Phase 2, then get rid of the conservatorship. So I'm not for the conservatorship at all. But I think you've got to start with getting rid of Jamie because he's going to be the hardest one to fight, as we see. So I am very kind of cautiously optimistic. But man, I want this to work out for her.
And you've been the first person, I remember you being the first person years ago of the Free Britney of your I don't know why people are you were in on it before anyone else was.
Yeah, I really was really heavily into it. Still am. Frustrated, angry about it. Because unfortunately it's only gotten worse than we thought in the beginning.
So ranters, just so you know, your boy was on the ground floor.
Yeah.
Bringing awareness to this.
What is your hot take on this?
I think with what we as the world have done to this poor woman, that she deserves free reign of anything. We deserve to have the FBI raids, army, military, everyone go in and rescue her with what we have done to her, what we all took from her collectively, how everyone stole this woman's youth, her her mental health, everything, just attacked this child, since she was a child. And what we did with her and how much Hollywood and every tabloid and everything else made money off of her. No, she deserves no, this is her, this is how you pay her back. We put all force into saving her. And she's that's what we owe her. She should have free reign. She should be able to do whatever she wants. I don't see, unlike churches, I don't think Britney should ever have to pay taxes again. I think she should be tax free. I think she should be tax exempt.
You know what? I'm going to co-sign that. Why not? She has paid enough, mainly to the father, but she has paid enough.
I think she should have a Starbucks, free membership for life.
Easy.
Starbucks wasn't. It's not Starbucks was a struggling company and need to be put on map. But it's she is iconic. Those frappuccinos are iconic because of her. She that's what everyone
yes.
Puts in their mind image wise. So she should have free Starbucks for the rest of her life for anyone to she should be everyone in her family, Fifi the assistant, her mom, Jamie Lynn's kid who's probably a teenager by now. Everyone should get free Starbucks. And we owe that to her. We deserve to give this woman back everything that we stole from her, as a planet.
Well, April 27th, we need to be giving good vibes towards the whole mess, and including Britney. My God, if I just would love to see this change. And man, I hope it happens. I hope there's no percentage, Jamie's not the main conservator, but he's a conservative 27% of her personhood. No. We're not going to be doing percentages and working together in partnership or anything like that. No, just
yes.
This is a female judge. This Judge Penny is a female judge. Look out for other women. She's already has another conservator that she's had temporarily now for over a year. Let that woman be the conservator for now. Get rid of the father. The world is watching.
Yeah.
On that note, Annabelle, where can people listen to your show, support you? What do you want to promote?
They can find me on iTunes and Spotify at Adderall and Compliments. And you've been on my show, and they've always been some of my favorite episodes. And
Yay.
You're going to be coming on my show again soon, and we're going to figure out what movie we're going to recap.
Genuinely,
recap something from the aughts.
Genuinely can't wait. Genuinely excited. So looking forward to it. I love you guys for listening. This just made my day. Continue to support the podcast, my friends and others. I love you for listening. And as always, I'll be back with more rants.
This has been Grant's Rants. Follow Grant on Twitter and Instagram at It's Grant's Rants. Cover art created by Howie Rone. Original theme music by Alexander Arntzen. The Grant Michael Collection.